What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Motomy and Dan. Today we're going to be talking about the flip trap. Flips enemies long distances depending on their size. You got to trigger it 40 times to unlock the unique upgrades. You have reduced cooldown or flips very heavy enemies. You have level upgrades of reducing its cost. The flip trap, I never run reduced cooldown. I've never ran reduced cooldown because there's only two traps in the game, two items in the game that can move the very heavy enemies, and that's the flip trap with the upgrade, and then the spike wall. Spike wall can do it intrinsically. So with the flip trap, you have more floor space than anything else, and it's a lot easier to knock enemies off the map if you have the flip trap in most maps. You're going to want to use flip trap to insta kill enemies, and that can really take you long, or really take you far into endless. So you know, flip traps, I mean, they're so good. On top of that, whenever enemies are launched, they take double damage. We'll take a look at that here in a second, but they take double damage. And so all of your big guys, your ogres, your trolls, your I don't know, all your very heavy enemies, they're all going to take double damage while they get launched by the flip trap and while they're on the ground before they stand back up. So you can force your flip traps to kind of, you know, push the enemies into a small area, and then you can even combo it with the spike wall to really keep all the big enemies in an area. And of course it works on the small guys as well. You know, the runners will run past it before it can trigger, but everything else will get flung by it. If you have a little bit of tar, maybe some other forms of crowd control to keep enemies on top of the flip traps before they trigger again, that could be really good. So it does combo well with the gravity pillar. This gravity pillar can create a bit of a traffic jam, and then your flip traps will force everything into the same tile. And then if you have wall charger or I don't know, wall blaze or something that does a lot of damage to everything in that tile, it could be just super good to use. So that being said, let's jump into the game file. Now the first thing to talk about in the game files is the flip trap attributes. It has a base velocity of 20,000. Not exactly sure what that means. We're going to take a look at some of the information we have on the flip trap, but unfortunately, due to it being an algorithm within the core game itself, we don't have access to that, so we don't know exactly how it's calculated with A, the damage, and B, the distance. It does seem to have the same flip on all light enemies, so a light orc will flip the same as a kobold, even though a kobold may be a lighter version of the orc. They flip the same distance. So it appears to be just based upon their class, their weight class, and not anything else. But there are a few discrepancies with that. We'll talk about that here in a second. But basically, for the flip trap attributes, there's just the base velocity that's listed there. Now when we go to the trap attributes, here's where we're going to see a couple of other things here with the flip trap. We're going to have a 0.5 second trigger delay. We're going to have a 13 second cooldown. It's 600 coin base. And that's it costs 4 skulls to unlock. And that is basically it to know about that. If we go over to the upgrades, we're going to see the cost coin value reduced by 50, another one by 50, and another one by 100. That's going to take it down to 400 in total. Then we have a reduced cooldown. It's going to take it from 13 seconds to 10 seconds. And we have another one that flips very heavy enemies, turns the max parameter of what it can flip to very heavy instead of heavy. Now there is an unused special upgrade, or a special upgrade, whether it's unused or not, I'm not entirely sure. Increased knockback force by 50,000. Oh, sorry, so that's what, 200,000 then? It's 200,000. Okay, so that goes by 50,000 additional. Again, not exactly sure what that is in reference to, but yeah, so that's what it does. Now we're going to pull this up here. This is the wiki page. Here we have the you know, the description and stuff like that. But I want you to take a look at this. So this is the light, medium, heavy, and very heavy enemies. This is how many distance I've measured these out on front lawn. So light orcs or light enemies flip 28, mediums flip 18, heavies flip 8, very heavy flips 2. And then I have this information from Robot Entertainment. I reached out to them and they told me this information here. So it's going to be a minimum of 10 damage plus another amount of damage calculated by an algorithm based upon their momentum. So Yeah, and then it says, and then they said, as far as how far units are thrown, each thing that has the ability to launch a minion, say a flip trap, has a launch force that is static. The direction is calculated differently based on the thing launching the minion, but is also deterministic. Minions are then launched in that direction at a specific velocity based on both the force and their weight. This is why you are seeing those two different distances, and this is in talking about the 2 light ogres versus an armored ogre, because in some of the maps, whenever you flip light ogres, they have an easier time going over a railing than armored ogres would. But an armored ogre may be different if it has a different weight value set. So it's not just about what's light, medium, heavy, and very heavy. It seems to be some other value that's added into that. It could be very similar to the two of them, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now with our understanding of the flip trap. But it's just good. You know, you should just bring it if you're gonna go endless. If you're gonna go for score, it's really good for score as well. Maybe not as good as a push trap for score, but still, definitely should take it. If you're going co-op, one of you should always bring it. If not both, but for endless, especially for endless, it is almost necessary. Even if you're going for combo on endless, flip trap is where it's at. Okay, lastly, let's jump into the game and take a look at a couple of cool ways to use it. So the first thing I want to show you guys is the tests that I ran. So basically, they're going to flip from here, and wherever they land is how far they've gone. So he went about right there. We'll get another guy flipped here in a second. We'll be able to watch where he goes. Okay, there's him, and he goes right there. So he landed here, which is... Yep, about right there. It would have triggered again. He did slide a little bit. So it's kind of at the end of that. So we're at about 2 grid squares into this. This is 6 grid squares long. So we've got 6, 7, 8, and then 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, we got 18. Now, this one is an interesting one. A lot of people probably looked at this and said, oh, I can use flip traps. It's a good idea. And it is a good idea. But then when they tried it, they realized it doesn't actually work out that well. So what they would do is you would have your armored ogre, and he would come over here and he'd get flipped, and you want him to get flipped over this, but we're going to watch what happens when we try. Alright, medium orc gets flipped, and he falls down. Then the armored ogre, he tries to get flipped, and he doesn't even go close. He doesn't even get close. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to wait until he goes right into the middle of 2 of them, so he gets the extra launch. If you have 2 of them launching, they'll actually fly farther than if you just have 1 of them launching. But as you can see, the armored ogre, dude, he didn't even care. Alright guys, so some of you I know are familiar with this. This is our Wave 1000 run that we did. Took about 54 hours. And it's all about the flip trap. I mean, it is just absolutely insane. So here in this first room, this is on quick paths. You have all of these flips going into the wall, and then a row of flips that are actually going into the lava here. And then back here I have the first several rows of flip traps, and they're going down the stairs because enemies take damage when they fall down the stairs. And I'm switching them. I'm actually in the process of switching some of them to go towards the rift. I have flip traps around the rift to send them back, so it's going to ping into the rift room, actually, about where my mouse is. And then they're going to get flipped right back over into this little area here. So they're going to ping pong back and forth. Now here on split stairs, we have 2 ogres that are going to come out, which is fine. And you're going to see the power of the stairs plus the flip. Now you can do this with spike wall as well, but it's much easier. Obviously there's no place here to put a spike wall, but you can put a flip trap. So it's much easier just to do the flips. So we're going to take a peek at him getting flipped, and he slides down. Look at his damage. Insta-dead. He's literally insta-dead. Look at this guy. Dead. It's absolutely insane. Because he takes that damage theory here. He takes the damage that he's supposed to take on the flip, the threshold damage of 10 plus whatever, but he takes it repeatedly as he flies down the stairs. Because he keeps hitting but also falling, but hitting but falling a solid object or something like that. So that's the power of the flip trap, guys. It is probably the best trap in the game, just due to the fact that it's A, floor trap, and B, it can affect the very heavy enemies. That makes it essentially the best in the game. The game wouldn't be anywhere near what it is without the flip trap. So I know this video is going to get a lot of love by the flip trap lovers out there, like myself. But yeah, I hope that if you don't use the flip traps, that you've seen the power of the flip, and maybe use it a little bit more in your kill boxes, and such like that. So yeah, we use it all the time. So if you stop by a stream or something, you'll probably see us use it, the flip trap, in our loadout. And with that being said, guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I stream on Twitch, so head over to Twitch and follow me, twitch.tv/MotomanDan, if you want. And I will always post a video on YouTube as to when I'm going live on Twitch as well, so you don't miss a live stream if you'd like to stop by and check that out. Anyways, guys, I will catch you on the flip side. Deuces.